Hey, a brand new episode of the Happy Productive Podcast is about to begin. It's time to be inspired by simple and actionable solutions for you and your business. If you're an established entrepreneur or just laying down the first brick of your future empire, the mantra is the same. We will flip any failure into a positive and use it to our advantage. This show is all about turning coal into diamonds. With the right plan and mindset, anything is possible. I'm Jennifer Dawn, your host, business coach, and founder of Best Planner Ever, and I'm here to help you achieve all your ambitious goals. Success is closer than you think. Let's do this. Hey everybody, welcome to the show today. I think this one is going to be short and sweet, and the point of today's episode is to call bullshit on your thinking. Okay, and you might be like, just stick with me. You might be like, Jennifer, what the heck are you talking about today? And here's what I'm talking about. Our minds are going to come up with so much crap. And you know what I'm talking about. The junk thoughts that run through our minds, the excuses, the complaints, all the reasons why we don't have to do our workout, we shouldn't eat healthy, we don't need to grow in our business, we don't need to take that next action step, right? Our minds are just almost littered with all of this crappy thinking. And all of us have this. No one is exempt. I have it in my own mind. The difference is that I've really learned how to recognize these junk thoughts, these excuses, all of this baloney that goes through my mind. I've learned how to recognize it and then do some things with it. So one of the first things that I do with all of these junk thoughts is I ignore them. I used to think, oh, if a thought pops into my brilliant mind, I must have to pay attention to it. And you know what? It's not true. These things will pop into our heads and we absolutely can simply ignore the thought. And if we have a thought that makes us feel like a bad human being, because we all do, we can all be petty and judgmental and really quite awful in our own minds. And just because we have one of these thoughts, it doesn't make us a bad person. Now, if we act upon it, it might make us a bad person. But just because we have some of these bad thoughts, it does not make us a bad person. And we can simply ignore the thought. You absolutely can. So you're human. Forgive yourself. We all have these crappy thoughts. And so just, when a crappy thought pops up or we think something mean or horrible about another human being, we can literally just be aware, hey, I just thought something really crappy, and then we can ignore it and we can release it. And we don't have to give it any of our power or any of our attention. And we don't have to use it as a means of now feeling bad about ourselves. Okay. So we can just let that thought go. The second thing that we can do is we can actually start to focus our minds and focus our thoughts. And those are the thoughts that you are in control of, okay? Some of the other stuff is going to pop up and it's going to just do that whether you're not in control of it. It's just going to happen. But then we have our focused thinking, and these are the thoughts that we can actually direct. And that's where our real power comes from, is that we can redirect our thinking to the things that we want to have rattling around, right, in our brain space. And so those focused thoughts are the ones where our power is. And if we take a little time to get really clear on, well, these are the things that I actually want to think. I can do it. I do have enough time. I am in control. I do have the power. I have all the time I need. I'm a master of managing my finances. I have great love in my life. All of this good stuff, right? All of this good stuff. These are our focused thoughts. And so we can direct our thinking and start to reprogram our thinking around these thoughts. The third thing we can do is that when these thoughts pop in our heads, we can recognize that sometimes this is just repressed emotions that are trying to be released. So in our lives, right, we have things happen to us and some of these things are unpleasant. We don't want to feel the emotion around it. And so what do? We push it down because we don't like to feel bad. So we just want to avoid it. And so we push these things down. And so sometimes you may discover that, all is going well and you're in a really happy place. And then all of a sudden you'll just have these thoughts or just start feeling really sad or really mad or really gross in whatever way that it might just automatically pop up. And so instead of like getting upset about it, trying to like push it down even further, what I like to do is just embrace it. Oh, look, I'm having a moment of sadness for no apparent reason. It's probably just some energy that was trapped from some time long ago when I was feeling sad and didn't want to feel it. And now it's just trying to release. So why don't I just allow it to release? And so instead of beating myself up or having all these crazy things, I'm just going to like recognize this is an emotion that I'm feeling. Yeah, it's a little bit unpleasant, but I'm just going to allow myself to feel it. And I'm going to allow myself to feel it and set my intention to let it go. And once you let it go and once you release it, first, you're going to feel so much lighter and so much better. Second, you're not going to waste all this time and resources and energy like beating yourself up and feeling bad or worse, feeling bad about it and trying to push it down and all the crap that we do because you can just like feel the emotion. And guys, emotion is just energy. When you allow yourself to feel even the negative emotion, it'll go away. It'll just release itself on its own. Sometimes when I'm feeling like sad or I'm feeling anger, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to feel the sadness. I'm going to feel the anger. I'm going to feel the shame. I'm going to feel the whatever. And the harder I try to feel it, it's almost like it just disappears until I just can't feel it anymore because I allowed it to pass through. When we don't allow these emotions to pass through, it's almost like the emotions are sending little signals up to our brain. And that's where some of that crappy thinking comes from, is all these repressed emotions just trying to escape. And I have discovered that the more work I do on allowing my emotions to pass through, the quieter my mind has gotten and the less junk thoughts pop up in there anymore because the emotions have been released and it feels so good. And now, when you recognize it, you can just do something about it. And that has quieted my mind so much. So, this is what I mean by calling bullshit on our thinking, that when these thoughts are popping in and rattling around our minds, that we no longer allow them to control us. We no longer allow them to sabotage our success because they absolutely will. We will literally make up all this stuff in our heads to justify where we are and to make ourselves right. And if we can stop doing that and call BS on it and go, wait a second, there's actually something in this life or in my business that I want to achieve here. And I'm going to call BS on my own thinking. I'm going to check my ego and I'm going to start to really pay attention to where these thoughts are coming from. And I'm going to do the work to ignore it if it needs to be ignored, release it if it's an emotion that needs to be released, and then direct it to a place that will support where I want to go and stop sabotaging my own results with my own thinking. So you guys, that's today's episode. I hope you can pull something from this. If you take something away from this or something that you hear really resonates with you, that's your heart and your mind going, yes, yes, yes. And so I want you to like take the next action there. If you need to like release some of these emotions, do it through a journaling session. I have my journal, best journal ever, and that's why I created it. It is not like a normal journal where you just like write stuff down that you're going to go and read in 10 years from now. This is a journal where the pages are designed to be ripped out and shredded, okay? Because in this journal, what we do is we actually will journal out these repressed emotions. Repressed emotions, when you don't deal with them for a long time, are going to cause so much like mental chatter. They can also start to manifest as physical pain in the body, literally physical pain in the body, the more that we are repressing and pushing down. And so in the best journal ever, you're actually intentionally releasing all of this stuff, journaling it out onto the paper to release it from your body, your mind, your heart. And then you're tearing the page out and you're ripping it up and you're getting rid of it, literally getting rid of it. And there's something so healing about tearing that paper and throwing it away or burning it or, putting it in the trash, flushing it down the toilet, like whatever that you want to do. There's something so healing about it. So if you find that you just have all this mental clutter, time to call BS on it today. One, it's okay to ignore these thoughts. Two, if it's repressed emotion just trying to release, well, start to release it. Do the journaling exercise, do your meditations, do deep breathing exercises, go into the emotion, allow yourself to feel it, and then release it, right? And that's going to help with some of this mental chatter. And then 3, spend more time focusing your thinking, focusing those thoughts, directing your mind and putting it to work for you. And that, my friends, is how you call bullshit on your own thinking. So get in there, play around with it, have fun with it. There's no wrong way to do it. And I hope you take something really valuable from today's episode. All right, guys, get out there. Have a happy, productive day. Bye. I hope you found today's episode of the Happy Productive Podcast inspiring. Every successful business is formed by a set of small, consistent, and attainable steps. If you want to learn more, come visit us at jenniferdawncoaching.com to take your next step and learn how to meet your business goals. On our website, you're going to find free resources along with links to the life-changing coaching programs that have transformed the lives of so many of our clients, including the Coaching Academy and our Unbreakable retreats. Many of them started their journey by listening to this podcast. That's it. Thank you for listening and stay tuned for our next episode.